Hey guys, Colorado Dave here. This is Knives in Our Lives that you're watching on YouTube. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. I am brand new to this. Only been doing it for a couple months and looking for some support, and any help by you guys with subscribing does mean a lot to me. So please do consider. And there is a notification button there as well, which will tell you about any new videos I'm putting out. I will continue to put stuff out regularly as long as I'm seeing support and I'm seeing my numbers go up. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, guys. But I'm glad for the people that have been watching and that have been making comments and have been communicating with me. Really met some nice people and am enjoying this whole experience. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about my Sebenza 31, my Large Sebenza 31. If you guys have been following me, this is a knife that's kind of been through a lot. It's been to Chris Reeve. It had to go back to the shop in Boise. I bought it in January. I got it in February, end of January. I got it end of January. It's dated January 6th is the born date on it. I got it at the end of January. Right after I got it, I had to send it into the shop to have some repairs done to it. It went in there to have the pivot looked at and to have the stop pin looked at because they both kept coming loose and undone when I would just flick the knife. Not when I'd flick it like old school flick it, but just flick it like this, you know, just basically the way Chris Reeve wants you to do it, like this. But after a period of time of doing that, both these screws would come loose, and I had an issue with it. And so I ended up having to Loctite it up with both screws. That was the only way I could use the knife, and I felt like it shouldn't be that way. So so I did send it into the shop when I first got it. After that, it came back. When it came back, I had to send it back to the shop again because it really didn't get fixed. Everything that was kind of wrong with it still was. They actually sent it back the first time with, there was like Loctite on all the screws. And so it felt great. I'm like all excited I got it back, and I'm like, oh wow, this feels really good. And then I went to undo it and take the knife apart and realized that they just did the same thing I did and Loctited it up. And so I don't feel like they had done anything the second time I had sent, or the first time I had sent it in. And so that was a little bit disappointing. But after that, after getting it back the second time, you know, from the shop, I can tell you that I felt that they had gotten it right 100%. I just put a video out recently, if you didn't see it, but it explaining that I just got my Large Sebenza back from the shop, and I kind of went into a little bit more depth about it, but they definitely sanded down the pivot and the pivot bushing area here on this right here to make it fit properly to where I could screw it down all the way, because I couldn't screw it in all the way before without the blade not being able to come out. So they did seem to resolve that, so I was very excited about that. And then the stop pin issue with the screw coming loose, it was not coming loose at all. Now, I talked to you guys a couple days after I got it back from the shop, or maybe it was the day I got it back from the shop, telling you that I would check back in with you and let you know after I played with the knife for a little while, you know, what my thoughts were as far as if there were any issues with the knife, etc. So this is just kind of a follow-up, and that's what I'm trying to do here. It's been about a month now since I got the knife back, and I wanted to just touch base with you guys and kind of let you know the pros and the cons of, you know, what happened with the knife. I'll start out with the pros, which are that they got the pivot right. There's no question about it, because the pivot bushing had been sanded down to the point of where I could at least screw the I'm talking about right here, so that I could at least screw it in all the way and not have an issue with being able to open up the knife. And so that was resolved, which I was very, very happy with. And then the same thing with the stop pin issue. As far as the screw coming loose, the screw has not come loose on the stop pin. That has not been an issue at all. So that's awesome. One of the negatives is that I am still having issues with the pivot, is the pivot screws wanting to come loose on its own. Even though it does screw down all the way right now, and I am able to, you know, open the blade when it's screwed down all the way and tighten down all the way, which is great, I'm still having issues with that screw wanting to come loose. So I am just going ahead and putting Loctite in there. Not a lot. I'm just taking it on the one side, on the one screw, and I am just putting a little bit of Loctite is all I'm doing. And in that breath, it's screwed down all the way, and so I just Loctite it in so that it's not going to move, and it's in the right position, etc. The stop pin has not come loose since I've done that, and this has not come loose since I've done that. So it works fine. But for those of you who believe that you cannot put Loctite in a Chris Reeve knife and put it in the pivot, I think when you're looking at the 31, that's not the case. I think you kind of have to do it. I think it's going to be a very common issue that you're going to need to use a little bit of Loctite to keep that screw in. And I think that's okay. I don't think it hurts the performance of the knife at all. I think the knife's great. I mean, it's really, really smooth, and it's running awesome. I mean, it's running really, really well. Excuse me, we'll spit that out yet. But I love the knife, and I am happy with the action. I'm just had to let you guys know that it's not perfect, and that the pivot, there is still, you know, from what I understand, I'm a newer Chris Reeve knife owner, so I'm probably not the best example to talk about this, but I'm just going to mention what I've kind of heard out there. And, you know, and that is that, you know, this shouldn't be an issue, you know, but, you know, I know these old school Chris Reeve guys, they want to give me a hard time saying that, you know, no, you don't put Loctite. You definitely don't put Loctite into that pivot. But I think you need to check with Chris Reeve Knives. Think you need to call him, because I did. And I think you need to ask him if it's okay to put it in the pivot. And the answer is yes. On the 31, the answer is yes, that you may need to do that. And I need to do that. And you know what? Since I've done that and I've kind of broken down and said, okay, I'm willing to do that, guess what? This thing is great. The performance is perfect. You know, I mean, I'm getting the action that I want out of it. It's smooth as can be. No complaints. The knife's tight as can be. There's no issues with that. That's the only issue that's come up, guys. So I'm not making this a bitch video. It's not. I'm not just here to complain and tell you what's, you know, horribly wrong with it. No. Chris Reeve Knives, when I turned this knife around the second time, which I do mention in my other video, they turned this knife in a matter of like 2 to 3 days off their desk in Idaho. That's how much they tried to work with me. And I didn't ask them to do that. I didn't ask them to do any of that. I just sent it in. They knew I've had an issue with it already. They knew it was coming in for the second time. And they literally, within 2 days, they turned my knife. I think it was 3 max, but I'm pretty sure they did it in 2 days. And I did have some help from a guy named Kevin that was in warranty and service. And he was dynamite. And he obviously knew his stuff. But he explained exactly what they did to the knife. This was part of what that was called the Tessa issue, which was one of the employees that had somehow caused some issue with these pivots and them acting up and not being sanded down properly, whatever the issue was. But anyway, it's fixed and it is resolved. It's not going back to the shop again. I am totally comfortable putting just a little bit of Loctite in there. I'm using blue Loctite. I think it comes with purple Loctite. Purple Loctite needs to set a little bit longer from what I understand, and it's not quite as strong. I tried using it once before, not on this knife, but the first time around before it went to the shop, and I wasn't happy with the performance of it. So I went ahead and just used my blue Loctite, and it works fine. And I have, since I've Loctited it, I've taken it apart once again already and checked it, and I cleaned it out really good to make sure there wasn't a bunch of Loctite buildup, and you know what, it's fine. And don't be scared at all to use a little Loctite in there, guys. I think it's going to make all the difference in the world on these Sebenza 31s. It is what it is. And if you happen to have one that has this, quote, Tesla issue, you may have to. And from what I understand from some of the comments I've gotten from some of you guys already is that you've had the same issue. And a little Loctite was the solution. So I think that's where we're at with it. Love the knife still, guys. Love it. No question about it. This is my baby. And I haven't been carrying it 100%, and part of the reason is just because it's the summer months here in Colorado, and it's very, very hot. It's been like in the mid-90s almost every day, and so I have been carrying lighter knives like this, just because they carry better. Lighter knives like this. You guys know what we got there? That's the 940-1. That's what we're looking at there. That's the 940-1. What's the other one I just showed you? This one here is this actually has custom scales on it that I just did. And this is actually the Salt 2, the green series, which is done with the LC200N. And I just changed up the scales because I didn't like the green scales. And so I switched them out. But anyway, that's what that's all about. But so I've been carrying the lighter knives a little bit just because of the weather and everything. But man, I've had this in my hand. I'll put it in my hand for a few days, and then I can't let go of it just because it feels so nice. It's just so glassy. It's a great knife, guys. You have to put one in hand. I highly recommend you try one, and you put one in hand if you have the opportunity. Whether you go to a knife shop to do that, whether you have a friend that owns one, whether you have to go buy one, then go get one. You know, I'm telling you, they're just a very special knife that have a very special feel to them. So I would say, you know, don't by any means be steered away by my comments. They weren't meant to in any way, you know, steer you away from the knife, because I love the knife. I just happen to have a few hiccups that had to get fixed, and I've gotten them fixed, and I love the knife, and that's where I'm at, guys. So after my 1 month review, yeah, I got nothing but positive to say about it. As far as the blade, I've had to strop it a few times. I haven't done anything as far as sharpening it, because I sharpened it a while back. But I have stropped it a couple times and brought it back to just like a screaming edge. Excuse me. Take that off camera for a minute. I think I just spit on it. But anyway, I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm not sure where my camera is. There we go. I don't know if you can see my edge. I like to show my edge off if you can see it, because I think it was pretty good out here. And there it is the other way, if you guys could catch that. But anyway, enough babbling. Yeah, the knife's great. I'm enjoying it. I like the way the inlays are darkening up. They're darkening up real nice from just the oils in my hand and from using it. I am enjoying that. As far as the actual bead blast that's like kind of on the outside of this titanium, I'm telling you, I've had great luck with it. Really no scratches, just smooth, and it's getting softer. I guess the best word before would be it's softer than when I first got it new. And I like that. It feels really, really nice in hand. But no, guys, I'm still enjoying the knife, definitely. And we'll check in with you guys probably in another month or two just because, and let you know where we're at with it. But I want to do some fun stuff with it too. And I haven't had the chance, and I'm not carrying it a ton right now because of the warm weather. But once I got my jeans on all the time, I'm going to have this in my pocket all the time. So we'll do more with it. And I'll look forward to sharing that with you guys. But hopefully you got something out of this video. And if you guys are looking at this one, this is what you should expect the scales to look like on the inlay, because they do darken up. They darken up quite a bit. And to me, that's a positive. I think they look great. If you want to lighten them up, you can take some rubbing alcohol and you can lighten them up, and they do come back quite a bit. I don't like that look. I actually like them darkening up the way they are. So I'm just kind of letting them do their thing. I lightened them up once just because I could, and I wanted to see what it was like if I lightened them up. But I'll be honest with you, I like the dark better. And so it's nice to see them darkening up. I'm babbling, guys, enough. Colorado Dave signing off. This is Knives in Our Lives. Please do subscribe if you haven't, guys. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.